Hello people of the dear internet, welcome back to a brand new video with me, the coolest guy around. Now today I am going to be discussing the wonderful group known as the League of Gentlemen. Also, just so people don't get confused, when I use the term TLOG, I am just abbreviating the League of Gentlemen. I hope this video can bring light to the inspiring story behind the cast of the show. Why am I making this? Well, that is a really good question. Let me give you a quick rundown of my history with the show and how it has affected me. If you're not interested by this part, just skip to the next chapter along. Now my father, a strange man, thought to himself one Friday evening, oh, hey, you know, my 11-year-old son is really missing a good dosage of horror in his lifestyle. So naturally, when he saw on Netflix, The League of Gentlemen, he had to put it on. This was my first introduction to the show, and ever since I have been hooked. To the extent where I actually think my dad mildly regrets showing it to me. Also, another reason why I'm working on this video is in case I make any more TLOG videos. And people then naturally have to ask me in a squeakish rap voice, what is the League of Gentlemen? And instead of me rightfully turning around and yelling at them, shut up and use Google, dimwit, I can just point to this video and everyone can be happy. Their upbringing. So let me tell you the first holy date. It was the 14th of June 1966 and Jeremy popped out of his mother to grace the earth. It was a holy day. Angels sung out from the heavens and all was in peace. Now the first question a lot of you might be asking is, do you know if there's any connections between Jeremy Dyson and the Hoover Company? And yes, there is. Jeremy Dyson's mother is actually a Hoover who got struck by lightning and began to magically walk and talk and move about everywhere. Jeremy spent his early years on this planet pottering about and going to the grammar school at Leeds. Later in his life he studied philosophy at the University of Leeds and then completed a master's in screenwriting at the Northern Film School. Mark Gatiss was born on the 17th of October 1966. He graced us with a wonderful grin and a future foreboding. He came from a working class background and he spent most of his early childhood watching Doctor Who and reading Sherlock Holmes. At a young age, Gatiss has always been trying to crawl onto stage, and one of his earliest walks into this part of his life was in March 1983. His face met the stage with a smile as he played the role, Dad, in the wonderful play, The Waiting Room. This play is based in the genre comedy, which is one thing that he would repeatedly come back to throughout his career. Gatiss's educational life started off at the Hyington Church of England Primary School before moving on to Woodham Comprehensive School. He finished off his schooling by going to Bretton Hall College. Steve goddamn Pembleton! Let's dive into his life. So, he was born in the terrific year of 1967. God, what a year. I can remember it all. The world stood at peace for a whole month just for him. September, the first day to celebrate. Pembleton was raised in Lancashire and went to St Michael's High School, Church of England. He also went to a college that you might recognise the name of. He went to Bretton Hall College. Yes, that's correct. It's the same college as Mark Gatiss went to. How strange. I wonder what college Reese will go to. And the year is 1968. And it's shit. But I gamble the next one is going to be great fun. And the year is 1969, and it is amazing. The fourth member of the crew has been planted. Reese was primed and loaded for absolute mayhem. He attended Andrew Marvell High School, and then later on attended the most holiest of colleges, Bretton Hall College. And now you're up to date with their beginnings. Let's see what happened to these four members as they turned into true artists of horror comedy. And let's see how the League of Gentlemen became who they are today. Now, if you've not realised, but the main way the gang met was through university. Dyson did meet them outside of college though, at an open mic later down the line, But in short, the gang was together. Their original stage show performed at multiple different venues. They also performed at the Fringe Festival, which awarded them the Perry Award. Dyson wouldn't perform as he was less confident in his acting skills and stuck to writing, whereas the others had a go at writing and acting. They would name their stage show after the 1960 film The League of Gentlemen. The first time they branched off from the main stage show was when they worked on the radio show called The League of Gentlemen on the Town. In this BBC Radio 4 comedy, we start to see the ideas that would form their TV show. Now, it was difficult to move all their sketches to radio, so they mostly focused on the Denton's family, Barbara, and the Job Centre sketches. Now, the main difference between the radio show and the TV show is the radio show is set and spent. This gets changed to Royce and Vasey later on in the TV show, but spent is not forgotten as it is mentioned in the local book. Their TV show quickly gathered a cult following. It ran for 3 series with 1 Christmas special. The first 2 series had a laugh track as the producers thought it would add to the comedy of the show. Eventually, though, it was taken away. The first 3 series ran between the 11th of January 1999 to the 31st of December 2002. In 2001, whilst working on the show, they worked on the live show, The League of Gentlemen Live on Tour. This live show had 58 dates and focused on Tubbs and Edwards in purgatory. Also, in 2001, they worked on a comic aid sketch for the tsunami disaster. This sketch involved Tubbs and Papa Lazarus. Then, in 2005, the gang hit the big screen in a feature-length film called The League of Gentlemen Apocalypse. This intensely meta film had characters of Royce and Vasey meeting their actor counterparts. They still had one more to log gift to give to the world before completely getting rid of it out of their lives. What was it? It was their very last tour. This tour was titled The League of Gentlemen Are Behind You. In this live show, we got to see the whole crew of Royce and Vasey perform a panto. This performance ran between October to December. In September 2006, Shearsmith went on to the Russell Brand show and said that there will be more League of Gentlemen in the future. On Reese's blog, it even mentions that they met up in London's West End to discuss their next project. Then in 2009, Psychoville was released. This show was not worked on by the whole league, but just Reese and Steve. Mark did work in one of the episodes though. Reese came out to say that there will be a proper to-log project in the future. And the next time the gang formed again was when Mark Gatiss, Steve Pembleton and Reese Shearsmith all came together to work on the 4th series of Horrible Histories. For a long time though, there was not a lot of group projects. For to-log fans, it seemed unlikely that we would see them team up again. But thanks to the right dickhead known as David Cameron, there was still a chance for them to come back into TV. Brexit was a political situation created by the Tory party. Sorry, I misread that line. The Tory bastards. Brexit was a complicated political vote which separated the UK from the EU. This vote made people very territorial of the UK and their own country. A lot of to-log fans, when experiencing these people, started to create heavy links between these kind of people and Edward and Tubbs, which in the fandom led people to make posters and leaflets that were mocking these right-wing parties and tying them to the characters in the show. This got the attention of the league and they began writing. This special reunion brought us back to Royce and Vasey, and after all these years we get to visit these familiar sweet characters. The series ran between the 18th of December to the 20th of December. It was fun and entertaining and showed the versatility of their comedy. After this, a live tour followed up, which picked some storylines that were kept in the air after the special. But after that was that. The show has not been built on anymore since then. Where are they today? I personally found it interesting to figure out the history of the group. As someone who wants to get into film and wants to work in comedy, it showed me a group of lads who worked hard wherever they could to create a show. It launched their stardom and it meant Each one of them could do literally what they wanted. I mean, Reese and Steve has continued to work on more dark horror comedies like Psychoville and Inside Number 9. Mark Gatiss has even gotten to the point where he's even be able to work on TV shows that he's loved as a child, like Sherlock and Doctor Who. And finally, Jeremy Dyson, you know, he's continued to script write. Each member has continued to have a successful and interesting career, where each member can create stories in many different art forms. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and good night.